Let's go ahead and begin. All right, Mr. Furkan, good morning. And let's see, what are we going to take a look at today?
Okay, let me share the screen first.
Sure.
All right. Oh yeah, use picture in picture.
There you go. There you
Okay.
go. Here's picture in picture now. Good.
Okay, so today I would like to discuss about what we've been outreaching, about our progress in outreach in this 1 week, and yeah, just want to see how it goes for every one of us. Because yeah, in my opinion, not my opinion, in my experience, I've gotten several good and bad experiences during this week. So yeah, I would like to share to you. So maybe we do not to have reinvent the wheel. So okay, maybe I would ask and I would ask all of you to maybe open these two documents, the distribution ideas one and also the outreach letter template one. Yeah. Okay. I think just let me share it to the link. Okay, as of now, you can simply click the links, and yeah, here it goes. So what I've done this last week, uh, the first one regarding this campaign, marketing and BD intern. I've actually have been reaching these channels or audience, but unfortunately, I didn't get any response from them until now. So yeah, maybe there's something wrong with my messaging. Okay, so now let's see this message. I also take everyone here, and this is my message when I outreach the professors or lecturers. So, okay, first one, I would like to ask Fuji's opinion. Fuji's opinion. Do you think what's wrong with my messaging? Hello. One
Puji, are you
second.
there?
Oh,
Okay. In this
oh,
case, Furkan. Oh, lag.
lagging.
Hmm.
Okay, all right. Okay, so next one. Maybe Latifa, do you want to proceed? Tell me
Wait,
what's wrong.
I'm trying to read your message first.
All right. Can you see it? I'm afraid you couldn't see it because it's too small.
I can see it. Okay, Furkan,
Sure.
just a few tips on moderating, all right? This is for everybody else as well, because everybody on this group will have many opportunities during your internship to moderate. So one of the things that you want to do is you want to keep the flow of the conversation going. Okay. During your time here, you might actually even moderate a public event. So like with hundreds of other people. So it's important to keep the flow going. If somebody isn't ready, then just immediately move to the next person, or start kind of giving your own thoughts, right, while people read or think for con. That would be a effective moderating tip. Yeah, give it a shot.
Oh, thank you very much for the input. Okay, so I guess Mr. Jing, maybe you already have an opinion on that.
Okay, Mr. Furkan, I think you have actually approached with boldness here, but it might come off as a little bit arrogant. I'm thinking, right? And this is where we have to be cautious here. We are not the most innovative hospitality company in the world yet. That's a vision, right? So I think that on second paragraph, as we strive right, to be the most innovative hospitality company in the world, as we endeavor to be the most innovative hospitality company in the world. We don't want to sound like we are talking down to a professor, like saying, hey, look, you don't know how to do your job. Let us show you how you should do things. So I think the tone of it seems to suggest that in a way. I know what you're trying to say, but there probably could be a more diplomatic way to put it. But I like the direction that you're going. The direction you're going is absolutely correct. Let's just figure out the way you say it. So the first part is a little bit lengthy before you get to your point, right? You say the world is evolving and everyone steps up their game. As a lecturer, you could just kind of skip to the punchline first, right? You can say, students know a lot about theory, but sometimes they are surprised when they find that theory does not apply to the real life. Would you like to solve this problem, right? And then you can go into the rest of it. So by stating what you believe is a commonly held value by yourself and the professor, you immediately identify to the professor as a person who's coming to solve a problem, right? So when you go into the storytelling mode, it they might read it, they might not read it. So the thing to remember is this: everybody reads a title, okay? So the title of your message, which actually nobody has put on any of these things, is really, really important, okay? So whenever you send a message, especially if it's an email, include the title in this analysis. Um,
Mm.
does everyone know why a title is so important? Let's go to Lolita. Lolita, why might the title um, be very important for this type of outreach message?
Do you mean the subject?
Yes, yes. So whatever you put at the subject of your email or your correspondence. Um, in instant message, there is no title or subject, but yes, the subject.
I think it is important because that's the first thing that the recipient would see.
Yes. And based on that, they will make a decision. Let's go to Latifa. What decision will somebody make based on the subject line of your outreach message?
Do they want to read, continue to read or not? Because it's like a hook in an essay, right?
Correct, correct. It's like a hook in a design. Hey, very good. You got it. So if you don't think of a really good subject line, nobody will read it. If it sounds spammy or irrelevant or off topic, then your recipient probably won't read it. The way that actually really good PR people think and marketers think about their messages, they spend about 50% of the time actually thinking about the subject, right? You spend about half the time thinking about how to write the subject in a way such that the rest of your message gets read. That is actually another hook about storytelling. So if we, let's say, incorporate and we elevate what we're doing here, we're trying to tell a story. Every story, if you really think about it, is a hook to get you to read a little bit more. You can think of like a really effective YouTube video, okay? The first 5 seconds of an effective YouTube video is to get you to watch the intro. The intro, which is 15 seconds, is to get you to watch the rest of the story, all right? And that's how most effective storytelling begins. A little hook to tell you, hey, this video is right for you. If you're looking to do this, this, and this, then stick around and listen to me introduce the rest of the video. All right, in this video, we're going to talk about X, Y, and Z. We're going to cover this, da, 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 and so on and so forth. So that's generally a really strong approach to getting somebody to read the rest of your message. Furkan, you have a really good message, I'd say, in this particular case, right? I don't know what your subject line is, so it might or might not affect the way that, okay, guest lecturing. Okay, that is not a great subject, right? Here's why. Because nobody knows necessarily what Bukit Vista is, right? So we need to frame it in a way that is, how would I say, is a little bit more relatable and relevant to a potential professor, right? So we can say, we offer students, let's say, would you like to think of a vision that a professor would agree with, right? Thinking about how to get your students more practical industry experience, we can help, right? That could be like a hook to get somebody in, right? Um, when we flow off features and not benefits on the subject line, then it is 50-50 whether or not they might actually respond or open the message, right? But when you float a benefit over on your subject line, then generally they wouldn't have anything to argue about that, right? Or prepare your students for remote work, right? Through practical guest lectures. That could be, a pretty enticing subject line. Okay, um, have the experts in remote work entertain and delight your students with a practical knowledge. Okay. Okay, good. Let's take a look at the rest of what you've put together there. Let's go up to the top again. So your approach is absolutely correct, right? It's just that I think the tone of it might, it's a little bit patronizing. It's a little bit like saying, hey, look, you might not know this is happening, right? But I'm going to tell you what you need to know. So I think I think I think most professors already understand that this could be happening, right? So you can just emphasize the positive points. You say, "Hey, look, school is good for theory, and the real life is good for practical knowledge. What if we could integrate that, right? By providing a framework for students to get practical knowledge, where they can apply the theory that they learn in your class, all right? So now you're not being antagonistic. You're being cooperative. You're allying with them, and that is pretty important if you want their support. Okay, next. I feel like this is like an English class now. All right. Next paragraph. Okay, so that's pretty good. I think you're essentially describing what we can do, and you're listing some of our potential inventory that could be of benefit. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. Okay, good stuff. Remember, here's the key when you reach out to university lecturers, everyone. They just really want two things. Okay, maybe three things. One, all universities want their students to get jobs. Okay? Every decent university wants their students to get jobs after they graduate. If they don't get jobs, nobody will go to that university anymore. I think this is like waste of time, waste of money. So the aspect of offering an internship prepares their students to be accepted into the workforce afterwards. So that's number one. Number two, they generally like to partner with industry in order to share data and experience. Okay, so when you're in a university, you don't have sensors out in the real world telling you what's going on. Industry partners like Bukit Vista can provide that information to you. So whether it's a guest lecture, or whether it's sharing research data, or whether it's just providing material, an opportunity for somebody to write a research paper, these are the cooperations that a lot of universities are interested in. The third thing is, of course, money, right? Universities need funding, and they need budgets to be acquired, usually from industry or the government, to fund their projects, right? So these are the three things that we can offer. We don't really offer that much funding. We're kind of like, not in a great state ourselves, but we can offer the other two, and we have generous amounts of knowledge that we want to share, and also internship that we can provide so that people get work. So focus on those three benefits or focus on those two benefits, right? Not the funding part, but the two benefits. All right. We're also opening several internships. Okay, great, 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 great. Okay, great. I think the rest of it is actually pretty good. Um, you might want to focus on one thing at a time also for Khan. Okay, you're having two asks now in this particular email, which makes things a little bit confusing.
Mm.
I would go with one ask per outreach. So just ask for one thing. Say, hey, look, we're doing guest lectures, and we would like to invite you first to be part of this program. All right. This program starts next week, and we are scheduling right now. Please respond back if you would like to be part of this. If they rate back, then ask the second thing after that. When you ask too many things in the first email, they might get a little confused about what they actually might want to do. Okay, ask the thing that they're most likely to say yes to first. Okay, so they're most likely to say yes to probably a guest lecture. If that's wrong, send them another email and ask them for, hey, look, it looks like you might not want a guest lecture. Try the other one. Okay, but one ask and one email. Don't ask for two things in an email. Okay, that might be a good revision, and then we can try sending it out. Okay, I'd like to compliment Furkan. I think he's bold. He's trying out. He's being daring in this particular category, and I would encourage everybody else to also be daring. It's a lot easier for me to mentor and coach you guys if you're daring and you try out your ideas, because then you have full strength going in a certain direction, right? If you're not daring and you're being too cautious, then it's really hard to decide how to fix you. Okay, so just be daring in your messaging. Don't worry, you'll never get punished for a bad message. Even if they think it's arrogant, they'll probably just not read it, or they'll read it and go, huh, okay, all right, young kid, archive. So there's not really too much to fail on. Okay, Mr. Furkan, lead us on the next discussion, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Jing, for giving so many inputs that is very valuable for all of us.
Mhm.
And yeah, actually, I would urge you, like I would support you as well to put your what is it, your latest messages here. If you would like to get feedback from all of us, I think it's very great to to share this idea. I guess to improve. Right. So this is the second thing. This is the second message of mine, but it is pretty effective. So let us just skip this first, and yeah, let's go to Lalita in this part. Lalita,
Oh, wait,
uh,
wait, Mr. Furkan, quick stop. Did you say that this second message that you wrote in Bahasa Indonesia is more effective?
yeah, but it's not really targeted to professionals, but into organization or clubs.
Okay, hey, that you should stop, right? If you found oil, stop looking, right? So, okay, why do you think it's effective for cotton?
Because regarding to my experience, then I actually get reply mostly within 24 hours when I send a message.
Okay, all right. Listen up, everyone. I think Furkan's discovered something. This is the correct formula, then, apparently. Okay? Writing it in Bahasa Indonesia using that messaging to clubs and on Saturday. Did you send it out on Saturday?
No, actually, I already sent it like way back since Thursday.
Okay, you
This
sent it on Thursday, yeah? Could you write that you sent it on Thursday? Just go ahead and put that you sent the email on Thursday, okay? That is how to do it, everyone. So I think Furkan, you've discovered something. Let's break this down. I'm not an expert in Bahasa Indonesia, so I'll need to defer to somebody I think that could probably explain it to me. Let's go to Latifa. Latifa, please analyze this and tell me what I should know about the approach that this letter uses.
First, I think, in my opinion, if you look at in the first paragraph, like perkenalkan saya Furkan dari Bukit Vista, it's pretty good, but I think you have to change the wording, like in the this untuk info lebih lanjut tentang perusahaan kami. Mungkin uh, I mean perhaps uh, you can state the reason why they have to click that link, like uh, perhaps like to find more to find more achievements, or to find more our achievements, or what,
Very good.
like that, not just like find more of our information, go to this website, but what kind of information that they can get into the
Very good.
website.
Okay. A little question, Latifa, for that. Do you think that actually, and this is to Furkan too as well, both of you, do you think anybody actually would click on the link?
If we deliver the message well, we can perhaps they can click the link. If we especially
Ah,
in particular, if the student organization also curious about us, like what is Bukit Vista, and then like the receiver of this message, like the student organization, like what is Bukit Vista and why they want contact us, like,
okay,
and
got
then
it.
they gonna click the link.
Got it. Okay, let's go to Furkan. Furkan, if you, what was the purpose of putting that link onto the introduction paragraph, Furkan?
Because as you see, I didn't explain much about Bukit Vista here
Uh-huh.
on the opening part. So yeah, I just redirect them if they are like feeling confused, right?
Okay.
Like when I hit them, like I'm from Bukit Vista. What is Bukit Vista? They must be wondered. Like so, yeah. I
Okay.
just attached the link to if you want to see more, please open it.
Got it. Okay. Let's go to Fuji. Puji, let's say you're reading this email, right? And I'm asking this because I'm trying to understand things from, let's say, a student organization perspective. I was never part of an Indonesian student organization, so I'm not really sure what people would do. But let's say you read this, you click on the link to go to the website. Is it likely that you'll come back to the email?
I think no, sir. Just
Right. You'll
I
probably
think
just.
just read the website
Uh huh. Okay.
and I see what in that website.
Okay.
I'm not to go to email. I think.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So if we put a link on a website, then for con, it's likely that the person might click off and never come back and respond back to your message, right? Because they go check it out. They look at the website. They look at a few things, and then they're in Google Chrome or whatever. They just kind of stick there, right? And then they go look for something else within that thing. So there might be a chance. This is in this is actually part of marketing, right? You're essentially designing a funnel. This is what we call an escape, right? This might be a way that somebody might escape from actually completing and then taking action to your call to action at the very bottom. So I would be circumspect about actually, oh, you know what you can do for Con that would be really clever. You could say, our website is at the bottom of this message. You can click on it at the very end, right, to check out our credentials. That would be really clever because that would force everybody to at least scroll through and read the rest of the message, right? And they wouldn't escape before that happened. So I think that would be actually a good way. The link to more information about our company is inserted below. That would be kind of foolproof. Okay, but you know what? There could be a cultural reason to do that. You know, some cultures uh, they just always introduce with business cards wherever they go. You know, it's like okay, all right. So it could just be a way of establishing relevancy or authority, or saying that you are a legitimate business by sharing a website. That might be the case too, right? So what would be good is actually this, Latifa. Why don't we create a test, right? A split test. We can try different styles of this message, just taking this template. But let's say sometimes we move the link to the bottom, sometimes we put the link somewhere else, and just see really do we get actually a better response from this or this. Furkan, would you like to set up a like a bake off, right? You'll try one message, and then you'll have somebody else try a different message, and see
A
who.
testing. Is it like A/B testing?
Yes, yes. Essentially, it's an A/B test. You got it, for con. So we can set up an A/B test. So one version showing it this way, the other version showing it slightly different, and then we can compare the results. That is to help us understand how people work. If we see that if we put it at the end, we get more responses, then perhaps our hypothesis is correct, right? That people actually do not open, they go off, and then they don't come back to the email message. So set up that test for Khan between you and I think somebody else on the team. Perhaps Latifa, she already had some ideas about this, and then you guys can go with, you know, both models, right? Or you can change this to a new version and see what works even better. Okay. All right, Latifa, let's keep on analyzing the second paragraph and the third paragraphs. What do you think?
Okay. For the second paragraph, Furkan already said that yeah, we are open for internship opportunity,
Okay.
and perhaps for in our email we can like make it bold so people like pay attention to this message that yeah we are opening for opportunity.
Mhm.
And I think in this paragraph some part is still wordy like for example like this like yang saya rasa sangat bisa membantu teman-teman FEB UNER like which we think that will be helpful for them. I think it doesn't persuasive enough like
Mhm.
for them like it perhaps what kind of help that we can help them like right there you know what I
Okay.
mean like
Okay.
yeah so like it will be better like we provide an internship opportunity to help you fulfill your perhaps if they have a mandatory internship, like portfolio mandatory internship, or perhaps if they want to seeking new experience, like perhaps fulfill in industry experience with high level management or whatever it is like.
Hey, you got a point there, actually, Latifa.
Yeah.
For Khan, we forgot to actually get an inventory of intern success stories from the company. Okay, so I'm going to throw a few out there. One of the interns who started, her name was Ara. She became the area manager for Samsung, right? So she got a job at Samsung after Bukit Vista. Another one of our interns, he was very early. His name was Bastian. Bastian got a job and he worked at Agoda after Bukit Vista, right? And then we have a few people who interned here who got permanent jobs, and some of them became like more senior. Vidi was kind of in that category, right? He started kind of working part time at Bukit Vista, and eventually he became chief operating officer. So I think we can share a few of those stories as well, because that is better than saying, "Hey, look, I have an internship program." I have an internship program that positively transforms people, right? And you might even do this, right? I think we have a few testimonies on our LinkedIn from past interns about how they felt about the internship program. There might even be a few farewell videos that we have. You could kind of take the materials from that and put it as advocacy, right, from students about the internship program. Make sure that that's a part of the material or whatever. And you might even start with that line, right, as your subject line. Bukit Vista transformed me through the internship program to become better at whatever it is that they wanted to do. So that would actually have a high degree of persuasion. But look, Latifa, I think these are great ideas, right? This is already working, so hopefully our great ideas will enhance it. But also set expectations moderately. Sometimes great ideas, no matter how great they are, don't work. That is the difference between school and the real world, right? It's like I have this great idea, but just that people are not receptive to it for some strange reason. That happens all the time. Okay, so this is why we have to actually do testing. It is not up to us to decide to be persuaded or not. It is actually up to our audience to decide whether they are persuaded or not. If this is working, then always keep one version of this, but keep on testing to see if people will react better. If they do react better, that becomes the new normal, and then you start testing from that. So don't ever throw away something that works to try to do something entirely that is new, because you might actually find yourself in a situation where you abandon something that was working and you don't have something new that actually works yet. But these, I think, are great suggestions overall that Furkan can play with through more iterations, and he can develop this, and we all can develop this a bit better. Okay, fantastic. I think let's keep on going. Let's keep on going to the next message and see what we have. Yeah.
Sure, sure, sure.
Okay,
Thank
now
you
it's
very much,
Lolita.
Lalita.
Lolita put a lot of emoji cards. That's hilarious. Okay, all right, awesome. Lolita, I'm gonna, okay, Furkan, go ahead and moderate. Yeah.
Lalita, maybe you could tell us about the effectiveness of this message first.
Okay, so this is the message that I sent to student activity, and I think this is effective because just like Burkon, they reply like within 24 hours, and also the responses that I get are what is it? I get the distribution post from them, and also yeah, I think so. The first one is the first message that I send through WhatsApp, and then when they reply, they usually ask me to. They usually say like, "Yeah, sure. Can we know about it further?" And then I would send them that yeah, sure. And then I will explain to them about the roles that we are also looking for, and then I will send them like the link to Bukit Vista and tell them that for more informations they can visit this website.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay, all right. That's an interesting approach. All right. Furkan, you're moderating. I'm just commenting.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Lalita. So, I guess this is very interesting one because, in my opinion, I don't know, yeah, we didn't have any kind of this message. So, Lalita used like staging messages. So, Um, they Lalita like hit the student activity first with this small cute message, and after they replied, yeah, they will come along, conversation will come along, and yeah, finally we could distribute our post there. Okay, thank you very much, Lalita, for that. I would like to ask a yes,
Oh,
sure.
I'm sorry, sorry. Go ahead, Furkan. Yeah, I was going to comment, but I'll wait.
Okay, okay. So, Latifa first, I guess. I would like to go to Latifa. Okay, what do you open? What do you think about this?
Well, I think it's effective for instant messaging, like instant message like WhatsApp or Line or perhaps Telegram, because yeah, as I mentioned before, perhaps with Furkan and messaging, like Indonesian college student is uh just want to read the short message and then like they because they don't pay attention for a long message, so split them into a short message like only one paragraph. It more effective than long message. I think it's good, and using the uh, emoticon in here, like showing that we are warm and we are open for them, like it's pretty good.
Okay, thank you very much, Latifa. Go to Puji. Puji, what do you think?
Okay, I think maybe this message is aimed to attract curiosity of the target. So it's a, like a chain message, and I think it's very great for reaching some like a student activity. So so there is maybe like a thing that we are very open for them, and yeah, I think just like that. Burkon.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Sir Jean. I know you
Okay,
have.
that's great. Actually, I didn't even notice that. This is actually pretty interesting. The question I was going to ask Lolita is, what specific channel are you using this message in, Lolita?
WhatsApp, sir.
WhatsApp. Okay. All right. I think this is actually a really cool approach. Latifa and Pooja have given you very good advice. So conciseness is key. I remember before we used to send like these stacks, and I think the key word there is attention span is short on messaging. So you're not going to get somebody to read something past probably the size of a tweet, so 300 characters or less. Um, Fuji, very good observation. There's a hook question. There's a leading question at the very end. A question instigates engagement, right? It demands somebody to respond. It's sort of like it's an itchy thing, and you have to put something on it. So I think that's really smart to end your engagement with a question. Okay, the more that's Socratic method, in fact, right? So you're sort of engaging, like, okay, tell me more about this. So I think it's really smart. And the use of emojicons, well, in email might be comical, but I think in messaging works. Okay, that's good. If it's working, then we're on to something here. Let's go to Furqan. How would you improve this?
Okay. Um. Okay. So, in my opinion, the hookup message is very, yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's concise, and it tells you enough for introduction. It tells you enough for introduction. So, maybe I would like to I don't know. Actually, I don't have any in mind that I could improve.
Okay,
Maybe.
let's go to Latifa. Can you think of any ways that this message could be improved?
Yeah, of course, there's always room for improvement, right? I think when Lalita said like um, dan saya ingin berdiskusi mengenai peluang magang dan kerja di Bukit Vista, it's like it's not persuasive enough. I think like we can say like we want to give you an opportunity to internship on our company rather than we want to discuss about the probably yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's actually interesting. Persuasive framing. So this is a topic I think I talked about with one of you guys on paper or Slack, right? So if you frame something as asking for permission, people will think that you're giving you want something from them, right? Like, would it be okay if we talk about this, or if you could please respond? That would be great. But if you put it like this, right? I'm giving you an opportunity for one of the very limited internship slots that we have available, and you're the first person I'm approaching. Would you be interested to find out more how students from your organization can be qualified for this particular opportunity, right? So it's very different. Let's say, for example, somebody approaches you and says, would you like to give me your email so I can register you for a prize, right? You have been recognized as being a industry leading person, blah 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 blah. We would like to announce your achievements at our next meeting for this and this and this. Please fill out these details and we can speak further. All right. So approach with a gift is better than approach with a ask. All right. Just think about what you can offer. Generally, people will respond better to that. They'll understand. Oh, this is an opportunity, rather than oh, this is something I have to do. Oh God, like whatever. This works very well in PR. Right. So when you approach journalists or editors or magazines or whatever, you don't want to say, "Hey, please, can you publish my press release?" Like it would be really nice if you could do that. Be like, "Hey, I got some news that your audience wants to hear about quickly. So this is what it is, and we think that the audience would really find this interesting, right? They would find it beneficial, and blah 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 blah." So if you approach that way, then they'll take a look at it and be like, "Oh, okay, all right, this is interesting." Um, it's just a good approach. Okay, very good, Latifa. I think discovering that we can change our framing and make the framing more persuasive is a good discovery. All right, cool. Furkan, we only have about I think 15 more minutes, so I'd like to actually bring us to another discussion, which is about a key problem that we want to solve right now in this layer. So, if I may, I'll bring everybody's attention to the Trello board, and I'll share my screen. Okay. How you doing, Pooji?
Hello, sir.
Hi. How you doing? Okay.
I'm here in Jogja, sir, and
Oh,
I'm
you're in
fine.
Georgia. Hey, you said you'd
Yeah.
show up. You said you'd come by and visit. You haven't done that yet. We're sad, 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 sad. Hey, if you're in Georgia, please come and visit because I'm not going to be in Georgia forever. So I'd like to see everybody who's interning or hanging out. Okay, so we have this actually really interesting problem right now, and let's take a look and see if we can actually solve it. Who is working on this? Oh, Furkan's working on this. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to take a look at a practical real life example of what we can do to improve our targeting. So we've gotten some feedback about this particular campaign. And the feedback is that the applicants aren't very good quality, they're not coming from the right source. So we need to take a look and really examine why that's happening, right? Why is it that we're not getting applicants in the correct places? So let me go to Furkan. Furkan, can you give us a little bit more information about how we're distributing and the channels that we're distributing for this particular campaign?
Okay, so basically and majorly that I use CDC and alumni portal for this
Hmm.
distribution post. So yeah,
Okay, got it.
right.
Where are we distributing in general to find candidates that have, let's say, good attributes that we're looking for this role? Or what channel and what audience are we seeking?
Okay, so basically it's kind of tricky, I guess, to find a candidate that has fulfilled a career or even calling
Hmm.
attributes because yeah, we open the job and we provide money for them. Yeah,
Hmm.
of course they will be intrigued and interested in that coverage or perks. So um, I don't recall. I guess if you would like to to be more targeted and seek the qualified candidates, I guess we could use as, like association. Try to find any marketing or sales association. Sorry, you could hear me.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Find a marketing association. Okay, very good. Here's some. Okay, that's a good direction. Let me show you also another direction for Khan and everybody that you could probably explore. Right. So, does everybody remember that Bukit Vista has BVE talks? Right. So we do BBE talks, and BBE talks are actually a leading way that we get industry relationships on both sides, from the university side and also from the professional side. So one of the BBE talks that we've done, and BBE Talk Network is available for everybody just by virtue of you working at Bukit Vista. You can say, hey, look, I am an intern at Bukit Vista. I saw that you gave a previous BBE talk. Can I ask you some questions about things that might help? Okay. This is what we call leverage, a very important keyword, right? Leverage. Leverage is the difference between being able to get your work done in half an hour and taking 30 hours to get your work done. Okay, so let me explain how leverage actually works. Leverage, this is leverage in the example of, let's say, investment, but let's say leverage in the example of physics. Leverage is basically, oh God, this makes things look actually even more complicated. Sorry. Okay, I think this is a simple example of leverage, right? It might be really hard to lift a rock. Yes, Furkan.
Sorry, sir, but in my opinion, do you share another tab or window?
Oh, sorry. Yes, yes. Thank you. Stepping on toes. Very good here. All right, let me. Yes, here. How about this? Okay, is that better?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right. All right, everybody. So leverage is this simple principle. It's being able to apply less energy to lift heavy things. Okay. So this particular challenge of finding a sales and business development person is actually pretty difficult. We've been looking for quite a long time without much success in finding somebody. Okay. So if we go about our individual efforts, we are not using leverage. But if we actually go and we try to tap the outside world to understand more, that is using leverage. This is something that you'll experience in both PR and also in human resource. So the aspect of PR by itself is thinking about leverage. If I talk on my own, I can only reach a certain audience. But if I can get a publication or a person with a massive audience to talk on my behalf, then I'm using leverage, and then that is how I can get a message widely spread out. Okay? So this principle, please think about how to use leverage when you go about your day-to-day work, because you will get much more done using much less energy. Okay? So one of the things I can do to get leverage is, for example, if I am looking for, let's say, an original source for qualified applicants for this particular role, I might not know where to go, right? Indonesia is a very big country. There's a lot of universities, there's a lot of departments. I could be using even a really good method, like using a lookalike audience to find my source, but I still might not find a really good source, okay? So I'm going to use some leverage here. I'm going to go to a Bukit Vista e-talk where we had in the past, and we got these people to come up, right? So this guy is the head of digital marketing at Gojek. This guy is brand and marketing manager at Danone. This guy is strategic campaign lead at Rally Lally, and this lady worked at Facebook on regional brand awareness. And this guy wasn't very actually effective, so we'll forget about Dudanda, right? If Dudanda sees that on this video, then sorry. Okay. Anyway. Anyway, these four people are definitely industry experts. So we can go to them and we can ask them, hey, by the way, do you know anybody or any schools or any programs that produce really good sales and business development candidates for your organization? Danone, Facebook, Gojek, these are all organizations that probably hire high quality sales and business development candidates, right? So we can leverage that. So I'll show you an example of what I did. So I went to one particular person. His name is Ferdy. He was probably the most talkative um, panelist that we had on this e-talk. And I asked Ferdy, where should we go? Where should we go in Indonesia if we want to find people who are really strong in business development? And this is what he told me. So he said, and this is on my LinkedIn. Um, Okay, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, blah 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 blah. He basically, if I remember correctly, he said you should go check out Venus, right? He said Venus is probably one of the universities that you find. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? Okay, can't find it, right? But anyways, I approached him and he said, check out Venus. Venus is a school that Gojek hires a lot of our sales and business development candidates. So there you go, right? There is a clue. That's using leverage. So instead of actually having to kind of discover yourself where you're successful, go out, tap our professional network, and get that key nugget of information. That will save you tons of time trying to experiment yourself. Okay? All right, I wish I could find it. I'll find it later and share it in the group when I see where that conversation came from. Okay? All right, so that for Khan can be a clue for where you can go to find potential candidates for this role. So remember, if you go to the general university, you're still looking at people who are coming in for a potential job, not a career, not a calling. So if you want to find, let's say, people who have a calling in business development, people who are really passionate about sales, where should you go to look for those people? And let's put the question to Pooji. Pooji, if I'm at Venus, I'm looking specifically for people who have, let's say, a calling that might fit with Bukit Vista. Where specifically should I look for those people? Okay, let's go to Lalita. Lalita, question to you.
Volunteering experience.
Right, volunteering in what would indicate that they probably have calling?
Volunteering that that is what is it? Not really sure because I think most of the people who joins like voluntary job have callings because
Hmm.
it is right.
Okay. Let's also be relevant too, as well, Lolita. Right? If they volunteered, and let's say they volunteered in animal abuse shelters, or they volunteered in picking up plastic on the beach. Does that have a high relevancy or a low relevancy to, let's say, working here at Bukit Vista?
Oh, low relevancy.
Right. So let's say they volunteered in something else. Let's say they volunteered in, let's say, a program that brought entrepreneurs, that did hackathons, right? Or that brought entrepreneur speakers to give general talks, or anything related in, let's say, entrepreneurship. Would that be a more relevant club and volunteer experience?
Yes, I guess if they volunteer like in TEDx, then yes, that would be relevant.
Okay. What if they participated, let's say, in a business plan competition, or they participated in mock investor startups or something, like they pretended they had a startup and sought for investors? Would that experience be relevant here?
I think yes, because like joining competition or winning competition in that area means that they have like what is it? They have the motivation.
Yep. So you could probably start with a search like this: plan competition. So you could probably write it in bots and look, such a thing actually exists, right? There it is. It's the number one result. There's business plan competition winners, tourism business plan competition. So these are all. What? Where's the? Okay, I'm sure there's probably more information if we dig a little bit deeper, right? But okay, these are actually pretty good indicators, right? And these people, guess what? You might be able to target directly, actually. You can just outreach directly to the business plan competition winners and say, hey, look, would you be interested in an internship or a full time job at Bukit Vista? We are leading in this particular new idea that should re energize the tourism industry in Indonesia as soon as the pandemic ends. That might be a very enticing line for somebody who has a calling fit, naturally is interested in this, and also a capacity fit too as well, right? We know that they can probably do the work here because they've demonstrated success in a similar topic. Okay, so this is how we become, I would say, like anglers, right? Like professional fishermen. You're not throwing out so much bait everywhere, trying to catch whatever you can catch in the ocean. You're going specifically to try to catch that bluefin tuna. You're going specifically to catch that marlin, right? So like this marlin fisher person. Fisherman is very gender specific, right? But yeah, that's what you want to do, right? I remember this quote from from Facebook, right, or the Social Network movie. Nobody is proud of putting tiny little fish on, they take a picture and it shows like rows of tiny little fish, right? But everybody's proud when they can catch a marlin. So how do we catch marlin? We have to be very specific. We have to be like, okay, where do we target? How do we target? And when you target very, very well, then you can catch exactly what you're looking for in this one. This goes with publications, this goes with human resource, okay? For Khan, this is one of the things that is part of the human resource cycle. When you talk about psychology, when you talk about whatever in HR, I would say every stage of the employee journey, you should be employing this type of knowledge and understanding, right? Really, really good recruiters save everybody in the entire human resource chain time, energy, and money. Okay? So if you want to do really good HR, the best people to actually do it are the people who are recruiting. Why? If you recruit really well, then you don't need to interview that much, right? Because the person already knows the answers to all your interview questions because you're seeking somebody who already knows the answers instead of having to bring them through. If you're interviewing really well, you don't need to spend that much time onboarding because the person already knows better about what to do than your onboarding program actually can provide. The onboarding is more of just orientation rather than onboarding. It's not training or anything else. If you recruit really well, then the person will thrive and do really well in the organization. They will add value to the employee population and lift things up. So I've seen this happen before. One of our best recruiters, Ara, I was always astonished at how easy HR was when she was running things. I was like, all right, how do you do it? She's just like, I have a really good eye for spotting talent. I can tell if somebody's going to be a good fit here. It's like, really? Okay, all right. And it made everything so simple. It was one outreach, one interview, one hire, and then immediately start. So that is what a perfect funnel is. You try one time, and it goes all the way to becoming a successful employee, right? So that is something that is also pretty interesting as well. So that's basically where you can make impact. Catch marlin, and then you don't have to catch so many fish that then have to be processed eventually through the system. Okay, so that's an example of how being super targeted. Okay, great. Let's go back to Furkan.
Okay, thank you very much. It's very enlightening. Okay, thank you very much for all of us, yeah, for gathering here today in this weekend. So yeah, maybe that's all from me. It's already 10. Yeah, we made it on time. Is there anything else that you want to bring from your sides, guys? If not,
One last thing. Oh
oh,
yes, Lolita. Yeah.
My connection is bad, so I want to make it quick. I think we can tag each other on the university outreach later because actually I want to get feedback on my second letter. That's all.
Very good, Lolita. That's really good. Okay, asking for follow up.
thank you, Lalita, for that. Okay, Mr. G, maybe you said that you have something.
One last thing. Let's go to Latifa. Latifa, is there anything else we need to do before we end this meeting?
Uh, Actually, I want to make sure regarding the meeting with tech in Asia, like what do you say, like it is the sales calling. I
It's
know
just
that. So my step is when you ask me when we can do it together. Like I found I'm trying to find the contact in the internet, and then like it leads me to like yeah they bought, and then like I'm typing that I stayed in that message that I want to create an event together with them,
mhm.
and then like Abel called me like from email like asked me to have a quick meeting, and then like yeah well I think even if it's a sales meeting, like we can like negotiating in that meeting, like
Okay. All right.
I want to try like you know this is what we need, and this is why we want to collaborate with you.
Okay, good. Let's also be very specific and also be, how would I say? Okay, all right. This is a separate topic, but I'll go into it really quick, Latifa. So publications always have two arms, right? One is editorial, the other is advertising. So advertising is what they do to make money. Editorial is what they do to build an audience, right? So these two sides generally do not talk to each other. Right? They're kind of like different parts of the business. Yes, they might be under the same umbrella, but you're getting essentially a very different experience depending upon what side you talk to. We're going to do this, but it's mainly just to give you some experience so that Tech in Asia is a really good brand. They're a very leading blog, and it pays to have some sort of connections with the people there, right? But remember, what is the purpose of the particular meeting? And are you actually speaking to the person that can help you with the purpose, right? Having purpose is so, so important when you do PR. If you have no purpose, you will get so distracted. Right? You'll start going off course. You'll start going to events that you don't need to go to because they're going to be using you in a way, right? They're like, I need people on my event, so please come to my event so that I can stack up numbers, right? Um, so the really important thing to think about when you're doing PR is what do I want to get out of, let's say, this particular engagement, and am I likely to get something out of it? It's not being I mean, some people, you're being very transactional there, right? Yes, but we need to think about how to build relationships in the areas where we need relationships, right? If we want to talk to salespeople, uh, just salespeople will talk to us any day of the week, right? As long as we are potentially a customer, they will love talking to us. So those meetings are they're naturally going to come. Let's do this to explore because I don't want to assume. Let's use some data. Let's see what it's going to be like and see where we can go. But this one definitely does not need. I thought it was an article collaboration, right? So if it's an article collaboration, then we need to bring the people that can speak intelligently about the particular product, right? I think Ross actually got us published. Do you guys know about this? No? No? Okay. So Ross is a working community. She had a friend in a newspaper based in Jogja, and she got the BV Go article published. Actually, I was really surprised. I was like, didn't even expect that to come from Ross, right? She's working community, but that worked. I asked Ross to actually come over to this team to explain a little bit more about what her process was. The key was actually the relationship. She had this relationship, I'm not sure how, with one of the editors, and they just hooked it up for her, right? It was like, okay, here you go. So that's kind of like how you can get published. The last thing to remember is this, everyone. So we need a action plan. All right, what are we going to do next? For Con, when is the next batch of outreach going out? Is it going out like in all at once, or is it going out like sort of one piece at a time? Uh, okay, for Con's not there. Let's go to Latifa. Latifa, when do you plan to send out your
Um,
next? Oh, okay, for Con's back. All right, let's go to Latifa first then now, because I already called her. Latifa, when do you plan to send out your next batch of messages?
Next bit of messages. What kind of message? What in what audience?
Well, okay, let's have you decide, right? So we have the
Ah,
first audience, which is the original job distribution boards, right? And the
uh-huh.
second audience is the professors with the guest lectures.
Right.
So tell me what your plan is at this point.
So actually, for the job portal,
Mhm.
I can send it like I mean to do the distribution post is like I can do it every time like
Okay.
but for the university or university related like student organizations, professor,
Mhm.
I'm planning to do it like on the weekdays, especially on Monday morning. Like perhaps in Sunday, I like already send in email and then set the schedule on that like and so it will be distributed right in
Okay. All right.
like
That's very good. Very good. All right. Let's go to Furkan now. Furkan. So same plan or different plan from Latifa?
okay, so actually, about the distribution post, I would like to post it on a Monday, and uh, think that I've gained several channels that willing to do that, and also For the outreach, I try to do like my daily, like Latifah said, and as long as it weekdays and in the morning.
Okay, all right, sounds good. All right, Lolita, what's your plan?
For the distribution post, I usually like on what is it on Friday and then on Tuesday
Friday and Tuesday.
and
Okay.
then yeah
Okay, forgot that.
because when I distributed on Monday, I got no replies.
Okay, all right. So we're finding patterns, yeah, on certain days where people are more responsive. Let's go to Pooji. Pooji, what is your plan for distributions?
I
Okay,
think there is delay on her.
maybe.
Like, yeah,
Okay,
bad connection.
I think Pooji should just come down to base. We have great internet here. Okay, all right, ladies, gentlemen, have a good day. Have a great weekend ahead. And oh, one last thing. One last thing. I'll take this off the